This is the island of Sicily, present day, but had you been here in July 1943, this was ground zero. Operation Husky was the Allied invasion of Sicily during the Second World War. It began on the night of the 9th to the 10th of July 1943 with airborne assaults followed by amphibious landings along the island's southern and southeastern coasts. It was the largest amphibious invasion ever conducted up to that time and marked the beginning of the Allied campaign to liberate Italy. The operation was commanded by General Dwight D. Eisenhower, while General Sir Harold Alexander commanded the Allied 15th Army Group. The objectives were to capture Sicily, secure Allied shipping routes through the Mediterranean, and force Italy out of the war by weakening the Axis alliance. Approximately 160,000 Allied troops landed during the first day of the invasion, and more than 470,000 Allied personnel took part during the 6-week campaign. The main attacking forces were the US 7th Army, commanded by Lieutenant General George S. Patton, and the British 8th Army, commanded by General Bernard Montgomery. The 7th Army included the US 1st, 3rd and 45th Infantry Divisions, supported by the 82nd Airborne Division. The 8th Army consisted of 13 corps and 30 corps, including the British 5th, 50th and 51st Infantry Divisions, the 1st Canadian Infantry Division, and airborne elements of the British 1st Airborne Division. Together, these forces represented one of the largest multinational invasions of the war. The Axis defenders numbered around 315,000 men, although most were Italian soldiers whose equipment and training varied considerably. The defence was organised under the Italian 6th Army, which included the Livorno and Napoli infantry divisions, several coastal divisions and local defence units. Germany's main contribution came from the elite Hermann Göring Panzer Division and the 15th Panzer Grenadier Division, with additional reinforcements arriving later. These German formations provided the strongest resistance and played a major role in slowing the Allied advance. Operation Husky required an enormous logistical effort. More than 3,000 ships and landing craft carried troops, tanks, vehicles and supplies from North Africa to Sicily, while around 4,000 aircraft supported the invasion through bombing, reconnaissance, fighter protection and airborne operations. Engineers cleared beach obstacles, repaired roads, established supply depots and ensured a continuous flow of ammunition, fuel and food to the advancing armies. Strong winds scattered many airborne units before the landings, reducing their effectiveness, but enough troops reached their objectives to help protect key bridges and roads during the invasion. After the landings, the British 8th Army quickly captured Syracuse before advancing north towards Catania. The advance slowed as German forces established strong defensive positions around Mount Etna. Meanwhile, the US 7th Army advanced westward and captured Palermo on the 22nd of July 1943, taking thousands of Italian prisoners. The campaign then turned into a race for the strategically important port of Messina. On the 17th of August 1943, American troops entered the city only hours before the British forces, completing the conquest of Sicily after 38 days of fighting. Although Sicily was lost, the German withdrawal was organised with remarkable efficiency. Approximately 39,000 German soldiers, around 62,000 Italian soldiers, nearly 10,000 vehicles and large quantities of equipment were evacuated across the Strait of Messina to mainland Italy. This allowed experienced German units to continue resisting the Allies during the Italian campaign. The campaign resulted in approximately 24,000 Allied casualties, including around 5,500 killed, 17,000 wounded and 1,500 missing or captured. Axis forces suffered around 29,000 killed and wounded, while roughly 140,000 Italian soldiers were taken prisoner. Although casualty estimates differ slightly between sources, these figures are generally accepted by historians. Operation Husky was a decisive Allied victory. The capture of Sicily secured Allied control of the central Mediterranean, making shipping between Gibraltar and the Suez Canal much safer. The invasion also contributed directly to the overthrow of Benito Mussolini on the 25th of July 1943, only 2 weeks after the landings, and accelerated Italy's decision to sign an armistice with the Allies in September 1943. Adolf Hitler reacted to the invasion of Sicily with deep concern, recognizing that the Allies had opened a new front in Europe and that Italy had become the weakest member of the Axis alliance. He feared that Sicily was only the first step towards an invasion of mainland Italy or even southern France. In response, Hitler ordered German reinforcements to Italy and insisted that experienced formations be preserved by withdrawing them from Sicily whenever possible. The successful evacuation across the Strait of Messina reflected this priority and ensured that many veteran German troops could continue fighting in Italy. The invasion also confirmed Hitler's growing distrust of the Italian military and political leadership. When Benito Mussolini was removed from power on the 25th of July 1943, Hitler viewed it as a betrayal and quickly launched Operation Axa, the plan to occupy Italy and disarm Italian forces after the country sought peace with the Allies. Although Germany managed to maintain control of much of Italy for nearly 2 years, Operation Husky forced Hitler to divert significant troops, aircraft and resources away from other fronts, particularly the Eastern Front, weakening Germany's overall strategic position. While Germany successfully evacuated many of its experienced troops, the Allies achieved all of their major strategic objectives. Operation Husky demonstrated the effectiveness of large-scale combined operations involving land, sea and air forces, and provided valuable experience that would later contribute to the success of the Normandy landings in June 1944.